Okay, what we're going to do is try to look at maritime admiralty law. And when we're looking at maritime admiralty law, it is the beast out of the sea in Revelations 13 and some other stuff. But what maritime admiralty law is, it's the law of the sea. It's the law of the ocean. It has to do with the Roman Empire. It has to do with controlling everything on earth. And I'm going to give this a shot because it's hard looking into this kind of stuff because it's not just real. It's what we've been under. And the Roman Empire controls everything. You know, and under maritime admiralty law, you have the banks. You have countries. You know, and when we're under maritime admiralty law, that means like if this is land, we'll say this is water all around. This is land too. We'll say this is land and this is land. And we'll say that the Roman Empire is right here in this land. Let's say they're in this land. This is them and they control all this. Well, because what you have is admiralty law. Used to there would be something called common law. Law of the land. Common law of the land would be here. But then you have the Roman Empire that's going to come in and create this like corporation, you know, of world enslavement. And it's going to be controlled beyond everything. But you're going to have people over here on this land, you know, different cultures. With the Roman Empire, what they're going to do is they're going to go eventually over time to these lands where the common law of the land is here. Because in order to control the world, you have to take your ideology, your knowledge of everything, and you have to dumb everybody down, and you got to go to their land and act like you're being heroes, slaughter people, you know. And what you do is you push the common law, the law of the land, or, you know, and that's just the common sense shit. Without all the banking and the judicial system and all that shit, which is Saturn, it's under maritime admiralty law. So what they're going to do is go to these different lands. And once they post up, you know, they're going to push the common law and the law of the land out, and they're going to create the admiralty law. Because, see, right here you've got to have a ship, you know, going over here. So there's a ship. Well, who's in charge of the ship? The admiral. See, you've got the admiral of the ship representing the headquarters, which is the Roman Empire, which is in charge of maritime admiralty law, because Mary goes into marina. Marina, you know, where you dock your boats. You know, you've got the Marines in the water for the military. And seeing if it's is it an anagram is what it is. And we've got what? We've got the Army. Because you've got M-A-R-Y, Mary, M-A-R-I, but it's the same because Army. You know, the Army of the Roman Empire. You know, the Navy, naval, vessel, that's a water term. You know, you drive a vessel. You're in a vessel. You've got blood vessels. It's all water terms. Because we come from water. It's all around us and we're made of just water. You know, so on these ships that are departing for lands to take this maritime admiralty law, this enslavement of humanity. So they're going to send their admirals under admiralty law. And as they get there, they're going to slowly set up shop to where the common law is squeezed out. And then what happens is the watermark, so to speak, when it comes to trade, after they take these lands over and act like they haven't, then the Roman Empire sets the watermark. And what that means is like from east to west. We're going to say this is a country over here. This is USA. And here's water. And then here's Europe. All right. And over here. And what it is when the ships would come over here, everybody on the East Coast is going to capitalize. And as the product goes inland, it's going to cost more and more. You know, it's going to create a lot. So America, the United States Corporation of America, after the Civil War and all this shit, came in and said, you know what, we're going to handle maritime admiralty law, which is supposedly, you know, trade and all this shit, but it's a lie. So when they come over here to shore, they're going to raise the watermark to like 2,000 feet above sea level. So, you know, what that's done is when you raise the watermark, so everything inland is underwater, because it's the water. You can't put no landmarks out there and say, oh, I'm going to put a fence here. You can't do it. So when the law of the water, maritime admiralty law, comes onto land, then you've created the judicial systems, the banking. You've came in and you have created, you know, something that is just insane. That is very hard to understand, because see, under administration, all right, and y'all teachers out there, y'all have an administration in y'all's school system. School implying what? Fish. Schools of fish. You know, you have your 12 grades that come from the 12 constellations, you know. You have commander of a fleet, which is the admiral, like we talked about, of a squadron or a naval officer of very high rank. You know, shipping and receiving terms. See, what they're doing is they're bringing over here, they're shipping. They're shipping in the water, product, commerce, because see, we are commerce. On my birth certificate and yours, it says Department of Agriculture. And that means when you go buy a cow or a sheep on it, it'll say Department of Agriculture, and it'll say male or female on ours and theirs, even though we're masculine and feminine. That's insane how much we don't know. And we've already went over school, which is a water term, okay, that we have cash, which is currency. Well, currency is a water term because the currency of the water is controlled by the banks of the river. So you've got the banks on both sides controlling the currency. Just like out here, you've got the banks that control the currency, you know, because the currency is within us. We've done videos on that. And, you know, you can liquidate your assets and shit. Freeze your assets. Those are water terms. You know, you have loan sharks. It's another water reference. And seeing on these ships ran by the admiral, because countries are ships. See, when we have these countries now, they went over to these countries. These used to be nations. Nations were lands. That was like a nation, a land. Well, once they get over here and then they claim, you know, ownership of the country, because country goes under maritime admiralty law, which goes back into the Roman Empire. Because you got on the ship, we've got leadership, worship, friendship, handship, hardship, sportsmanship, championship, membership, warship, relationship, and there's a bunch more. You know, and we have to have a license. You got to have a license for everything. You got to have a license. And remember, in order to have a marriage, there's marry. Because you've got to get a license, which is provided by the Roman Empire, because we're under something called unum. You need to Google this. Sanctum. Look that up. Unum sanctum. 1302s, I think, when it was. When they started the world, like, control. Of really, they's claiming all the souls on earth. And it's like, there ain't nobody owns me anymore. You know. And you get a lot of stuff. Market, Mars. Army, like we had said, comes into this. And then Mars. You know, Mars is the god of war. And it is. And we have Mars right here. And it's red. Red you see on all the fast food chains. Chick-fil-A, Hardee's, everywhere. McDonald's, red, 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 red. Red is a symbol that causes anger. And when we eat meat and stuff that's raised to be angry because they never had a life to live. So that's being raised in order to make money off of us, even though it's all not real. And we consume the television, the pills, the alcohol, and then we consume the animals that are mad already. Their souls are mad, and they have souls, and they do. You know, they ain't never had a chance to live a life, and they've been brought up by companies that say, Jesus loves you. Yeah. And truthfully, that meat, they say, mixed with what everybody's getting with those vaccines is what's really going to be doing people in, because of what, if you only knew what they damn did to the meat. You know, but it all has to do with world domination at the end of the day. You know, and it's like this. When you have people, and by the way, slave trade and all that shit was them forever, which is these people. They're the ones that okayed it, allowed it, did it, and then blame other people and control society and everything. Because when you run from these people, then we get terms like this. We get terms like, what I'm doing is I'm a what? I'm a pagan. Well, not really. Why would I be a pagan? Because, see, at the end of the day, the Roman Empire is chasing me down because I've got to pay again. Yeah, I'm not a pagan. They're making me pay again because with tax and all that shit, it's like nobody asks questions. As long as you got enough to mess around with and be distracted, you'll never ask questions. As long as I don't get hit with drugs and alcohol, even though the shit shouldn't be pushed the way it is, then I'm not going to care because I'm going to go over here and do whatever I want. And these people gave us that. So when you hear pagan, that's country folk, and it is. That's people of law of the land, common law, prior to them showing up, are pagans because we're minding my own business, black, white, whatever. And now you're pagan because we're making you pay again because you're not going to get away from us because they own everything. And see, in order to sign these documents, what do we have to do? We've got to sign. We've got to sign our names, which is in all caps on headstones, which is a Roman Empire thing. All right, so we've got serpent, I would be you. G would be God. And then N, we're going to write it like that because it's like nature. And I want to show you this. This is going to blow your mind. This is pretty wild. I hope everybody doing okay out there. Yeah, we're just chilling. You know what the Roman Empire is. In the N, what the N does is this. So we've got one... So we've got this first part right here. You see that? So this is going to equal land. And then that part right there is going to equal sea. All right? And then that part right there would be what? What would it be? Be joined. Because when you sign... You know, it's too big to comprehend because the way that things are hidden, you know, because the way, you know, you have land and sea joined under maritime Admiralty law. And when we sign our name, it goes into some stuff that we don't have any clue about because even the letters mean everything. Numbers mean more than anything at all. But when we're signing, what we're signing is documents that go into world slavery, okay? World full-blown slavery. Your school and universities all have administrations under Admiralty law, all right? And here's the deal in the court systems, okay? Answer. So we can get swear out of that. From answer, we can get swear. Because and in court, they say if you answer too quickly, then you're swearing on yourself and you're killing yourself. Because in the court system, if you do know a little bit of it, what you're going to do is you're going to ask questions. And then when you do that, you become what? As a king, because you're taking control over yourself in maritime admiralty law. You see, asking as king. Answering just out of fear and everything. You're swearing yourself down. You're degrading yourself. And then when you ask questions, you know, asking things, being, you know, persistent and stuff, knowing then you're acting as a king, you know. Damn it. Oh, yeah. And then we have to tie in this. And see, under maritime admiralty law, you have martial law. Martial law. It's the same reference. And what it is you have right here we can get mart. You see that? And then we get law right there. So what we have is Walmart. See, it's all one. It's all the same, and then their logo is that, which is this. It's the 6-pointed star, because that's Saturn. This is under Saturn, Brotherhood of Saturnalia. So you have Marsh, and the way you pronounce this, Marshall, if you Google that to see how you pronounce it, it's going to spell it like this. So L is Saturn, so Marsh, there's the Saturn symbol, Martial law, backwards. Martial law, maritime admiralty law. You know, and they own it. Everything that we see, that we do, the red light, the green lights, water terms, shipping terms, we're vessels, you know, we're driving, schools. It's all water reference. Everything that we do is, you know, even this is pretty wild, ain't it? Signy name. Wow. Well, we've combined the land and the sea and we're making it one and we're going to join this, and you have no idea anything about the serpent, even though Scripture says to be wise as a serpent. Wise as serpents. But yet we go in there and don't even know that we sign. Sign, because what is signing? It's a sin. Yeah. Do you see that? So in sign, the G is silent, and this is the truth. It's a sin to sign. It's a sin to sign. Because we don't even know, we just keep signing our life away. You know, and this people just can't put it together. They cannot grasp that somebody from the hospital bed just literally blew everybody away and called them all out and said, look, y'all ain't putting nothing in to your life. You got to really put the work in to find out how big Satan really is. Because, I mean, you don't have to be perfect. But those of us that's been hit by their man-made addictions, which under the pharmaceutical industry is under this. It's all over the nation. It's all over all the different lands. Remember, countries are... countries is what it is. It's a ship. So when we're looking at the countries, they're the ships. Countries are ships. You know, nations were the lands. You know, and remember, they don't, it's just, there's a whole lot more. But this is something that can make, you know, good sense if you really allow it to, because everything we do is a water reference. Army. I mean, it's vessel. You know, blood vessels. Our anatomies are made more of water than anything. And we're not taught that. We're not taught how important it is to consume water. They push us to drink the coffees and all that, and the more we just get disconnected. And then we, under this is what thrives. Because they created this shit. Off of the demise of us, because we're incompetent in their law system. I thought we were created in the image of God, but yet when we go to court, we're incompetent. You know, and like if they ask the judge if this is your name, state for the court your name, and you don't say your last name, you don't, even though you gave them your documentation over there, you're going to be taken to jail or whatever if you don't if you don't say your full name. But if you don't, how they know that's even you? You know, but they do. They lock you up. And the whole system, I've been in a lot of them, a lot of courtrooms, but it's designed with it's an intimidation thing too. So when you go in there, you know, you're gonna answer more than you're gonna ask, and that goes into swearing on your own self as opposed to being as a king, you know, in a system created around the destruction of human beings and the dumbing down of them and taking everything legal from them, especially what saved my life. And then how people just refuse to even look anywhere. They just don't want to. All right. I love you.